Hi, my name is Mike, and I'm here to read a comic. And today's comic is I Love You, issue number 102, dated March 1973. Take a look at the cover here. It's by Capello. It's a pretty decent cover. It's music related. We see an attractive young woman here thinking to herself as she's seeing the object of her desire, and she's saying, "It was my urgings and sacrifices that made Wayne a star. He was grateful, but I wanted, dun dun dun, not gratitude, but love." Said no server ever, because they want those tips. This is one of these stories. I did everything for him, and yet I'm still unhappy. He doesn't give me what I want. And we're told that there's also a full-figured poster of Susan Day inside. 1973, Partridge Family still had some juice. I had seen that poster before. And I'm going to get into the first story. It's called Love No More. And I got to remember what our protagonists' names are. I think it's Ray, and I have to check on her name, Vicky. So our protagonists are Ray and Vicky. I would say that Vicky sort of gives that Annette O'Toole look to her, or Dana Delaney. She kind of has that look to her. As far as Ray is concerned, I'm trying to think who he looks like. I'm trying to think maybe Nicholas Hammond, who is kind of like, he was notable because he was the first Peter Parker. I'll just say Nicholas Hammond here. He looks a little older in some panels, though. So we start our story off with Vicky. And it turns out that she was involved with a guy named Nick. And she thought Nick was going to marry her and kind of like, they're going to start their life from there. But apparently, Nick was kind of a shallow guy. And Vicky became disenchanted with him. I kind of get the feeling that maybe Nick kind of cheated on Vicky here. And she's upset about this. And she feels that she's better off maybe without him. And she's thinking to herself, that man next door is a moron. He always playing that dumb stereo. Like he enjoys music. What's wrong with him? And it turns out there's a neighbor, and we later learn it's Ray. Ray's kind of banging away at the typewriter here because he's a writer. And he's a writer who kind of enjoys background music as he's working here. So Vicky kind of has a low opinion of Ray. And Ray also kind of has a low opinion of Vicky. The two have never met directly. They know of each other. I guess kind of peeping through each other's windows. And Ray's thinking to himself, that chick next door never makes any noise. She's a spook. So anyway, what had happened is that, during the course of their life, Vicky and Ray actually ran into each other in the hallway as they're going to their apartments. And this is the first time the two have really taken a good look at each other, because they would see each other from a distance from their apartment windows. Vicky's thinking to herself that he's a, quote, a typical conceited male. He probably thought I would swoon because he smiled at me. So we can see Vicky is very defensive. She's afraid of love at this point. And she's thinking to herself, Fridays are the worst. Nick and I used to have such wonderful times on Fridays. So she's still not over her ex yet. And then she says, That was before I found out he was such a big fink, which is the thing. I think this means that that Nick was cheating on Vicky here, and Vicky hears a knock at her door. She doesn't know who it is, but she's hoping it's Nick. Maybe Nick is coming back. So Vicky wants to be her own rebound. She wants Nick to be the rebound that she wants. So um, maybe she has some self-esteem issues, like, you know, oh, I'm going to throw myself at Nick, and we'll return, and I'll totally forget about the whole cheating thing, and he'll never do it again. But when she opens the door, it turns out to be her next door neighbor, who she addresses as, quote, the pest from next door. And then Ray introduces himself to Vicky, and he's saying, listen, I got this hot pizza, and you're a hot chick, and I figured we can have a hot time together. And so Ray's saying that, listen, I ordered this pizza pie, knowing how big it was, but I figured it's too big for one person, so I thought I'd share it with you. So Ray invites himself in. And Vicky notes this, by the way. You know, good for her. She says, I didn't invite you in, Mr. Welder. And we see Ray is already making assumptions. He has the pizza. He has a bottle of wine. He's going to assume that they're going to have this great conversation together. So this should be kind of a red flag a little bit, in that he's already developing expectations with someone he doesn't know. However, Ray completely ignores that. He's saying, listen, this pizza is really good, and you gotta sit down at your table and enjoy it with me. And Ray's also saying, listen, why don't you tell me that sad story about what's going on in your life? Vicky's a little defensive, saying, what are you talking about, a sad story? It turns out Vicky is, she's taking some of the pizza. She is enjoying the pizza. And it turns out that Ray's kind of a busybody, saying that he hears Vicky crying sometimes at night. You know, I would hear you crying at night, you know, when you were whimpering like a little doggy, a little puppy crying. What are you crying about? So Ray's saying, listen, I'm also a writer, and I work nights. And if you tell me your story, I might be able to exploit it and get a check out of it, you know, writing for some TV show or something. Or maybe get a short story published. And then he says, actually crying in your sleep, you're a sad wench. You know that? So he's trying to make a good impression with this woman, but you know, he's already being kind of a weird, nosy, pushy, busybody. And then he calls her a wench. And she says, don't keep at it, Welder. Okay, so I cry a lot. So she's sort of buying into his framing here. So this is the little pivot where he's clearly acting like a jerk. She clearly would be in her rights to throw this guy out of the apartment, but for the sake of the story, she needs to be interested in this guy. And then Ray kind of goes on this weird thing where he plants a guilt trip on her. He says, why waste time crying? Did you know that Mrs. Haskell on the second floor has 3 young kids, and she can't pay a babysitter? You could help save her sanity by helping out occasionally. And I guess Vicky's like, okay, so where's the part where that's my problem? By the way, my mom was in this situation with 3 young kids, because there was me and my 2 brothers, and we were terrible brats. And then Ray's going on. He says, there's old Mr. Moore, lives in the basement. He hardly ever gets a cooked meal. And he doesn't have anyone to do his laundry. And Vicky must be thinking, well, what's stopping you? And Vicky wasn't aware that her neighbors were kind of undergoing these issues. Vicky's kind of questioning whether, you know, Ray's being serious. Like, why are you suggesting we actually do something? And Ray's saying, yeah, I do. I would babysit for, her kids. I'm a grown male, and I was left alone with those children. Not a problem, not a problem. And he also says that occasionally he would take Mr. Moore's clothing to the laundromat, you know, when he did his. They obviously knew whose bundle was Ray's and whose Mr. Moore. You figure it probably smells like old man, that kind of mothball smell. And Ray's kind of this guy who kind of has a philosophy where, if you're going to be miserable and you're surrounded by miserable people, at least try to be as happy as you can in your misery. So Ray's kind of doing these little favors to sort of help people out and to help himself feel better. So anyway, Vicky takes this advice to heart. She sees Mrs. Haskell. She sees the kids. There's one crying in her arms. There's a couple of other kids playing baseball in the apartment. Yeah, me and my brothers used to do that. And it looks like Mrs. Haskell can use a little time to herself, and that's understandable. I remember a couple of times where literally my mom threw us out of the apartment, just simply because she just wanted some time to kind of breathe mentally. Vicky says that she's used to dealing with rowdy boys because she has brothers, so it's not going to be a problem for me to handle this. She calls one of her kids Tarzan here, I guess because he's like climbing all over the place. And Vicky's thinking to herself that her husband is actually a truck driver. So this isn't a single woman, or a single mom, I should say. This is a married woman, But the thing is, the husband has a job, an occupation that takes him away from home a lot. He's saying, okay, I understand it's not that easy. Then Vicky, she goes down to the basement apartment and she meets Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore is kind of a 60-ish looking man. Kind of looks like a bookkeeper. My guess, he's a little surprised by seeing the very attractive Vicky here, saying that, hey, the escort agency, they stopped sending girls a long time ago. They started complaining about something about a smell and me not being physically attractive enough for the money that they're charging. And it turns out that Mr. Moore mentions Ray, saying, "Oh yeah, Ray said you might be coming down. He's a really nice guy." Vicky asked Mr. Moore for dinner. Would he like to have dinner with her? Kind of a dangerous move here because you don't want this guy having fantasies here. So anyway, continue with the story. Mr. Moore, he's kind of telling his story that things had been really lonely for him until Ray Welder showed up, and he started taking a little bit of interest in his life, just kind of making these wellness checks. And Vicky's saying, hey, isn't that guy he's kind of a character, isn't he? But we see Mr. Moore, he's speaking very highly of Ray, saying he's a good guy who works hard, and he has a lot of heart. So this is sort of the older man kind of okaying, this young man to Vicky here. Because, this is kind of the good girl thing. So it turns out that that Vicky sort of has a frenemy relationship with Ray, I should say. She's forgotten about Nick at this point. She still addresses Ray as a fink, but nevertheless, she's talking about all the neighbors that Ray had mentioned that she's helping. However, Ray's not in the mood for small talk. He wants to get home as quickly as possible. Vicky notices this, that he didn't look well. So she does a wellness check on him. And it turns out that Ray's actually pretty sick at this point. And Ray figures that he caught some type of bug. And Vicky notices that he has a fever. So he's saying, yeah, you might have this thing called COVID. So anyway, it turned out that Ray actually is really sick here at this point. And Ray is in his bed. He has a 103-degree fever, which is dangerously hot. Vicky is about to serve Ray some tea with lemon and honey, but the thing is, Ray doesn't like this particular drink. However, Vicky is saying that Mr. Moore had sent up the honey and lemon with the idea that Vicky would be making the tea here, because I don't think Ray would take the tea directly from Mr. Moore. Not that he would think that Mr. Moore was doing anything intentionally bad. I'm sure he probably doesn't trust an old man to prepare something that he's about to consume. And Vicky's laying a guilt trip on Ray, saying, well, Mr. Moore sent the honey and lemon. You don't want to, hurt his feelings by rejecting it. Then Ray says, well, yeah, I don't want to hurt his feelings. I also don't want to hurt your feelings. So again, he's kind of working in his interest in Vicky. And Vicky's saying, good, then drink that evil brew. And it has kind of a yellowish look to it. I'm hoping that this is not a situation with like special wonton soup here. But nevertheless, we'll give Vicky the benefit of the doubt. Vicky is staying overnight in Ray's place. She's in Ray's bedroom, but she's not in Ray's bed. So I guess that's the out. She's just sitting in the chair. She's just very concerned about Ray here. Then it looks like Ray is recovering, although he's still staying in bed. But it was during this time where Vicky had noticed some of Ray's work, and she actually retyped it and kind of re-edited it. And Ray's saying, what are you doing with my work? Vicky's basically saying, listen, it kind of sucked, and I kind of like it better with my improvements. So anyway, Ray is overlooking the re-edited pages. Ray's admitting that, hey, Vicky, you're right, my originals did suck, and this is much better. So they kind of have the makings of a good team here. And it turns out that Vicky, in the course of caring about her neighbors in her building, she's sort of making new friends now. I think some of Ray's friends are kind of gravitating into her orbit here. And it turns out there's this kind of like this kind of youngish couple, maybe not that young, it's kind of like 30, kind of looking like Alex Karras from Webster. And they're inviting Vicky to the coffee shop, saying, they should hang around there. Vicky is kind of wearing this Charlie Brown type skirt combo here, mini skirt combo. And Vicky wants to go to the coffee house, but she's waiting for Ray. So they're kind of just hanging around her apartment waiting for Ray. Ray does show up, and he has some good news for Vicky. Turned out that the story that Vicky had reworked, he was able to sell it to a publisher, so it's going to be in print. And then Ray kind of gets a little bit more serious here, saying that, listen, I might be struggling for a while. I really like this writer's gig thing, but it's not the easiest thing in the world. Hey, have you seen how low Charleston Comics' pay rate is? But nevertheless, I want to continue writing, and I would also kind of like to be a married man, and I would like to be married to you. And it turns out that Vicky is open to this, and Vicky's saying, "Listen, I can marry a guy like you. You may not have much material value, but I see a lot of growth there. I'm still going to keep my job. Now I'll retype and re-edit your work at night, but I'm still going to keep my day job. So we're going to be able to pay those bills." And yeah, they're gonna hook up and get married, and that's it. I think they'll make it. I think they'll make it. They seem to kind of agree with each other on a lot of stuff. Take a look at the the pinup of Susan Day. This is fairly well drawn. This outfit looks terrible, but this is what you'd expect from 1973. The next story is really interesting, and it's called "With the Swingers." And our protagonists, who are married, by the way, I have to get their names. I think I'll get it in the next page. And God damn it, where are the names? Carla. Carla is the female protagonist. And I think Grant is the name of her husband. So anyway, I'm going to go through it. It might not be Grant, but we'll assume it's Grant for the moment. You see that there's a party going on. Some of the women are really nicely drawn here. And we see there's an attractive woman here. Kind of has a Annette Bening look to her. And she's talking to this blonde guy. And the blonde guy is mentioning to her that her husband is really having a lot of fun with his wife. Those two are just dancing away. The guy's wife, who's a brown-haired brunette, I'm kind of thinking she kind of has a Jacqueline Smith look to her. And Carla's husband, Grant, he kind of looks like Lyle Wagner here. So anyway, so Carla is talking to this blonde guy named Murray. And apparently this scene is a new scene to Carla and Grant, because they're at a swingers party. This is something like out of The Ice Storm, that movie from, I think, 1997. Anyway, they're sort of at a swingers party here. And so, Grant's definitely more into the swinging scene than Carla is, because Grant is just dancing with Murray's wife here, who's really beautiful looking. As I mentioned, Jacqueline Smith type. But you can kind of tell that Carla is not really into this scene, I should say. She's questioning Murray about, doesn't it bother you that my husband is having a fun time with your wife? And Murray is saying, hey, yeah, your husband's having a lot of fun with her. She's having a lot of fun with him. So, I don't mind having a little bit of fun with you. And Carla is sort of ambivalent against it. She knew she was going to a swingers party. And I bet you the husband guilted her into going. But nevertheless, she was at least open enough to say yes to this. And Murray explains to Carla, in our crowd, wives and husbands don't get jealous. We've got a rule against it. And Carla says, oh, I guess I better stop watching my husband then. So there's officially a rule here. Carla is kind of an authoritarian. If an authority figure said, hey, listen, there's a rule, and you have to follow it. So Carla's following that rule here. But nevertheless, Carla is still bothered by her husband with this other woman, which is completely understandable. But if you're at a swingers party, you know, you should be expecting this. And then it turns out that Grant, his name is Grant, he addresses his wife as, quote, wife. He says, "Hi, wife. It's quite a party, isn't it?" I got the feeling that when this story was in production, it wasn't fully fleshed out yet. And so at this point, his wife actually doesn't have an identity beyond the role that she plays in his life. Carla's saying, "Listen, I'm glad you're having fun. Yeah, you're really enjoying this." So get a sense that Carla isn't having fun here. Then another guy who is called, and I'm not joking, Dud Edwards. His first name is Dud. So after Murray had moved on and he saw that he wasn't going to get any action from Carla, Dud kind of swoops in saying, "Hey, baby, we all give everyone a goodnight kiss on the lips." Carla's like, "We do that?" And then Dud says, "Don't ruin our friendship, sweetie. Give up those lips for me." And Carla says, "Dud, stop teasing." Now the thing is that Carla goes for it. She is smacking lips with Dud here. Man called Dud is getting action, and he has his hand on her waist. She's touching. They're open mouth kissing, and Grant, who's Carla's husband, he's watching this, and he says, "Carla, when you've got time, we're ready to leave." So Grant's kind of showing a little bit of jealousy, not enough jealousy to actually break this up, and but nevertheless, so we get an idea that Grant is a little bit into this swinger scene, but Carla definitely isn't. Although Grant's sort of like a little ticked that his wife is kind of kissing another guy, but then again, he took her to this place. Take a look at this one ad. It's rinse away blackheads, help dry up acne pimples. They were a curse for me in my teenage years. Oh, and we could see a couple of see a group photograph here of some people. I honestly, it looks like they do have some type of filter on their face. So this ad doesn't really look that appealing. So we go back to the story. So it turns out that I think Dud mentions to Grant, "Hey, weren't you making time with one of our wives? I don't know if it's mine or Murray's, but whatever. You were making time with another woman," which is in the spirit of a swingers party. So, of course, you're not going to be upset when your wife reciprocates with other men. But it turns out that Grant isn't terribly open to the idea of, other men, messing around with his wife. But nevertheless, he doesn't want to seem like a hypocrite. And Grant is a little apologetic, saying that, "Okay, maybe I was drooling over Beth a little bit too much. But, hey, we weren't making out the way you were making out." So he went into a swingers party, and it basically was like, "Hey, listen, I should have told her, if I don't score, you can't score." And but they didn't have that talk. Carla is mentioning, "Hey, if you didn't insist we go to that party, I wouldn't have been there." So Carla really isn't happy about being a part of the swingers scene. She's doing it to placate the husband, and the husband shouldn't be jealous if she's in the spirit of an activity that he's the one who wants to pursue. And the thing is that Grant's kind of say, listen, we're married, we're adults, and that this crowd that we're currently in is a bit different than, say, the kids in school. So I guess these two were kind of high school sweethearts. Then they got married after college. And Carla's still a little jealous about Beth, though. And they're fighting, but the thing is, but neither of them want to fight. And then they kind of make up, so they're both kissing each other here. Carla's thinking that, hey, maybe we should fight every so often because making up is really a lot of fun. So then we see Carla, and she's at a get together with two of her friends, and it turns out that these two are wives, and they're a part of the swinger scene. But the thing is, they don't have any kind of crisis of faith about it. They enjoy the swinger scene. But Carla's asking the women, hey, aren't you bothered by your men being with other women? And one of the wives answers, why should we? It's more fun this way. Because the men can't complain when we play the field. So they're making the point that if the husbands give them lip, they're not bothered by the husbands cheating because they're doing the cheating with it, and they can't complain about it. So then Carla and Grant, they're having dinner here, and Carla is telling Grant about some of the things she had heard. Carla says, so Bethany said their husbands don't mind because they have freedom too. And then Grant answers back, I don't think we should be too concerned, darling. After all, we know we love each other. I know kissing Dud wasn't your idea. So Carla says, yeah, I guess you're right, Grant. So they've accepted the idea that maybe playing the field this way isn't a bad thing. And then it turns out there's going to be another party. It's going to be a pool party. So they're bringing their bathing suits there. It turns out Carla bought a really nice one. She can't wait to wear it at the party. The problem is that when they arrive at the party, Beth has a better bathing suit. And I think she kind of looks maybe more like Yvonne Craig than anything else. Carla is sensing that Grant is way too into Beth. And so the two kind of break off because, again, they're swingers. But Carla's not interested in playing the field. She wants to spy Grant and see how far Grant is going to take this situation with Beth. Because Beth is giving him a lot of attention here. Yeah, normally wives would not want a situation like this where another wife is clearly kind of targeting their husband. That's sort of why when people get married and you notice that friends who are single, they kind of like fall out of that orbit. That's because the wives don't want the husbands looking at the single women or the single ladies. So Carla's overseeing how Grant and Beth are interacting. It turns out that Grant offered to put some sun lotion on Beth's back, but Carla's noting that the sun went down, so she doesn't need the suntan lotion. So this is obviously an excuse for Grant to be touching Beth in kind of an intimate way. This panel looks very intimate. This is going into Triple X area here. Grant's saying, "You've got lovely skin, Beth," and Beth says, You've got a gentle touch, lover. You got a slow hand. And then Beth says, claim your rewards, sweetie. And Grant is like saying, why not? So at this point, Beth is making it clear she wants to hook up with Grant. Grant is making it clear he wants to hook up with Beth. Now, technically, the only way Carla can kind of get, quote, even would be is if she found Dud or Murray and she did the business with them, but she's not interested in that. So then Grant and Beth, they're passionately kissing, and Carla's offended, saying, quote, hey, that's for real. So apparently, like, you could fool around, but it has to be fake. It has to be like, well, this is just a physical thing. There's no real emotional chemistry here. However, Carla's seeing emotional chemistry between these two. She wants to see it ended. So she pushes both Grant and Beth into the water. So right now, those two are splashing about in the pool. Grant doesn't understand why Carla is angry, since Carla presumably knows, hey, know where we are. And Carla says, you bet you're bipping. Oh, you bet your bipple I'm mad, Buster. Never heard that word. If you go near that chick again, I'm going home to mother. So Carla's saying she wants to exit the swingers scene. And then Carla kind of orders Grant to, we're leaving this party. Grant has a smile on his face. He says, yes, I'm finally pussy whipped. And I kind of like it. So Grant and Carla, they're home. And they both decide that the swinging life isn't for them. So, yeah, they're just going to continue being happy in their monogamous relationship. Before I get to the final story, I'm going to look at teenage troubles. See what was going on with the kids. Dr. Harold Gluck is answering the questions. There's only one letter here. It's kind of a long letter. I'll say this, the young woman who is writing, she's 17, and she's called Trouble. She actually has a good head on her shoulders. So the thing here is that Dr. Gluck really didn't have to do very much in terms of advice, because it seemed like this young woman has something on the ball here. So what had happened is that when she was 16, and she's 16 years old, and she's involved with a boy who's 18. And the thing is, she's 16, but the thing is, she'll be 17 in a couple of months. So really, the boy is really just a little over a year older than she is. It's fine, age appropriate. Now, he joined the Navy, and the thinking is that after Trouble graduates from high school, she is going to marry this boy who's in the Navy. And it turned out that he was stationed in Honolulu. Now the thing is that they knew something about Honolulu, and they knew that there was a large number of drug use going on in the island. The Hawaiian Islands were basically forcibly colonized by the United States. And there were a lot of people of native descent who felt displaced. And there likely was a lot of drug use simply because, they were kings of this island. And then suddenly, they found themselves as peasants, and they had to deal with a ton of racism and the economic injustice. So led to a lot of drug use on the island. And the thing is, it turns out the kid here, the boy who's in the Navy, he fell into that. So he started using drugs because she was concerned about it before he went to Honolulu. And it turns out that he was using drugs because Navy life was a lot more stressful than he thought, and it simply helped him cope with what was going on. But then it turned out that These drug issues are causing problems because the young woman in question, she doesn't want to marry a guy who is using drugs because they kind of tend to have bad habits, and some of that was happening with her, uh, and it turned out, yeah, and she's basically saying that my story is kind of a cautionary tale for other young women there, um, to not get married so soon. And yeah, that's about it. And Dr. Gluck is talking about drug abuse here. And he's saying correctly that, yeah, people use drugs to kind of escape the reality that they're currently living in. Um, he's also using some kind of uh, how can I phrase it? Um, evidence evidence by authority. He's just using an authority figure to make a point that this police chief says that any person who gets addicted to drugs is a screwed up kid to start with. So the doctor is kind of like, kind of low key saying, hey, this boy that you plan on marrying is kind of screwed up because he got involved with drugs.
Well, I was, in this day and time, you can't even get sick. You are strung out.
And yeah, and he's just saying you should wait before marrying him, saying you'll be a different person after you graduate college and as you get older, which is true. I think they say like every 5 years you kind of like evolve into a different person. Yeah, so that's about it. I think he's a little too focused on substance abuse. Should be focused more on why people use it. Okay, so gonna get to the cover story, and the cover story is not gratitude, only love. And our protagonist is Wayne. Wayne is the male protagonist, and Donna is the female one. So Donna, an attractive blonde here. I guess you could say kind of has a Goldie Hawn look to her. Wayne's a ginger here. I'm trying to think who he kind of looks like. Well-known gingers. Anyway, I'll think of someone. And it turns out that Donna is dating Wayne. Wayne is an aspiring musician. He's like a singer-songwriter. He's trying to break it in. And the thing is, it turns out Wayne needed a lot of help to get where he was going. So I'll explain it here. This is a long thought. This is a long word bubble. And Donna, she's speaking out loud, saying, "If it hadn't been for me, Wayne Deacon would have taken the job in the mill like all the other kids in the small Ohio town where we grew up. But I pushed him. I fed his ego. I paid for his singing lessons, and I bought him a decent guitar. The night he got his first big break, a guest appearance on network TV, I thought we had it made. But, dun dun dun." So yeah, it's one of those, my God, everything I've done for this man, I've made him who he is, and he's going to walk out of my life. So anyway, story starts back it's a flashback here. And so there's sort of, so Wayne is performing on stage in this small club. We see Donna's there. Donna has a really angry look. And it turns out the reason why is that the person next to Donna is kind of mocking Wayne here. Doesn't really like Wayne's music. Doesn't like his voice. Saying, "Deacon's a clown, Donna. Why doesn't someone tell him to burn that guitar?" And Donna kind of defends him by saying to this guy, "Don't knock him, Dad. Wayne's got something. Maybe not a big voice, but he might be good someday." So, one, it's weird because Donna is at this party with her dad. Her dad is critiquing the boyfriend on stage. Uh, Donna is kind of low-keying agreeing with him, saying, "Yeah, Dad, I know he sucks, but he might get better." And Donna is thinking to herself, "It's Wayne's eyes. He just looks at me, and I get goosebumps all over." So Wayne kind of gives Donna this little tingling feeling that no one else gets. Kind of a good thing here, because you don't want the dad here. They get a tingling feeling over Wayne. So anyway, now this is weird here. Wayne and Donna, the event's over. They're taking a kind of like a moonlight walk here, but Wayne says, "Quote: Your boyfriend just ranked me down, Donna. Maybe he's right. Maybe I'm a rotten singer." So, her Donna's dad is also her boyfriend, because according to these dialogue boxes, that looks to be the case. But Donna says, "He's wrong, Wayne. You're really good, but you've got to study music. Learn how to read music. Take some voice lessons. So you're really great, but you need to do all these things first." And Wayne's saying, "My old man would flatten me if I asked him for bread for stuff like that." So Wayne obviously comes from a family of limited resources here, so he doesn't really have the privilege to kind of like do the things that he needs to do as a performer, like getting better and getting trained. Okay, take a look at this ad. It's all female related. I never saw these ads in Marvel or DC. Crash diets, Pilates, even though they weren't known as Pilates. I think the concept of Pilates had been already invented. I think it was actually invented in World War One, but didn't really come into popular vogue until the 90s. Okay. See, we've got another ad here. Yeah, nothing interesting. Oh, they're selling a three-faced doll for 79 cents. Ugh. What do you get for that? So Donna's saying to Wayne, "I've got a few dollars saved, Wayne. You could pay me back when you make some money." So the thing is, this is already kind of problematic, because now it looks like Wayne is the sugar baby. Donna's not the sugar baby. Wayne is, and basically Donna is pulling all the financial strings, and Wayne is kind of a little bit demasculated here, because he's completely financially dependent on Donna. Donna tells Wayne, "Do you want to be rich and famous, or just have a good time?" Wayne says, "Quit bugging me, Donna." Donna says, "Look, Wayne, we can forget this whole thing. And then Wayne is like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Donna. I'll do what you say. Hey, I need the money." And so they have this agreement that Donna is going to bankroll Wayne, and Wayne is going to spend most of his time performing, which means that he's going to have little time for a job. So he's definitely dependent on Donna. The two embrace, they kiss. It turns out that Donna is sacrificing a lot, and Wayne is taking the lessons well. So he's not. It's not like he's frittering Donna's money away. And Wayne and Donna, I should say, is noticing the remarkable improvement in Wayne's performances. Who knew if you actually practiced and studied a profession, you would kind of be good at it? However, there are doubters in the audience. So even though Donna is seeing the improvement, the audiences aren't necessarily reciprocating because it turns out that Wayne is still getting heckled. He's told that you just ain't got it, Deacon. You're a drag. You're a bum, Deacon. Turn him off. So again, they're kind of forcing this thing. In Donna's defense, she didn't go the Joe Jackson route, where basically Joe Jackson took his belt to Michael and his brothers, and that's sort of how Joe Jackson trained the Jackson Five. Donna's not going to do that. Wayne, he's sort of having a crisis. You know, he's not feeling very confident. He's hearing that heckling. He knows his people don't like him. Donna, rather than saying, "Hey, dude, maybe you should just pack it in," she's on the Delulu train. She's saying, maybe it's the songs. Maybe you should, write better songs or something like that. And then the two are at a head because Wayne's confidence is really down. He wants to kind of give up singing. And Donna says to Wayne, "Wait, Wayne, you're singing all wrong." And Wayne is like, "Hey, now you tell me. Now you tell me. You couldn't mention this earlier, but now you're telling me." And Donna's explaining that no. It's not the way you're singing it. It's how you're doing it. And Donna's saying, the reason why I love it is because the way you look at me when you sing, that captures my imagination. That's what I want you to replicate with others. So this is a situation. It's like that Roberta Flack song, even though it isn't truly a Roberta Flack song. "Killing Me Softly" with his song. The song was actually written by another woman, and she wrote it because she had gone to a Don McLean concert, and she was absolutely captivated by his voice and his singing and his persona. Don McLean, he had two big hits in his career. One was American Pie. My, Miss American Pie. That was a classic. And he had another minor hit, which is a really nice song. It was about Vincent van Gogh. I think it was called Vincent. So those two songs are really great. The parody of the Star Wars prequels was done by Weird Al Yankovic, and it was done to the tune of American Pie. That I recommend listening to all three of those. So anyway, Donna's giving advice to Wayne, saying it's how you sing and it's how you perform. Wayne is sort of this ginger Elvis now. He even has the sideburns, and he's wearing this kind of revolutionary era blue coat here, and the girls are digging it. Even the guys are into it. The girls are saying, "I want to stroke to you." The guys are like saying, "Wayne, I want to stroke to you too." So now suddenly Deegan is far out, right on. So then it turns out, obviously Donna's advice was a huge success. And but Wayne is saying, "Listen, when I'm looking at those other women, and I'm telling them I want to passionately kiss them, I'm really thinking of you, Donna." So then we see Ray and Donna, they're passionately kissing. Donna is informing the reader that Wayne didn't have a job during this time. So again, Wayne is completely financially dependent on Donna. And it turns out that Wayne is getting razzed by some of his friends because they kind of know of the situation. One guy says to Wayne, "Hey, lover, here comes your meal ticket." And then Wayne, being a little defensive, saying, "You'll get a fat lip for that, moron." The thing is that Wayne really wanted to keep this arrangement as quiet as possible, and now people are finding out about what's going on. Donna says she doesn't care, that she's concerned with Wayne and his career and forwarding that, and she's really not terribly concerned about the town gossip. It turned out that Donna is also Wayne's manager. And it turns out that Donna was able to get Wayne a gig on network TV. So they're going to be traveling to New York for a spot, probably on the Tonight Show. So then, so Donna bets everything on this appearance. She's so confident that Wayne will make a good impression on the rest of America while he performs on national TV, that she actually does quit her job. So she's all in at this point. There's no half measure. There are no half measures with Donna here. And Donna's explaining how she picked this particular agent who had made this booking, and she just said basically, "Oh, he looks like a nice guy." And yeah, kind of based it on that, on appearances. The agent is hearing Ron for the first time. He's noting that Ron has a good vibe to him, and he feels confident that if they put Ron on TV, I'm sure he put Wayne on TV, that he'll be fine. And Donna, we can see she's getting a little jealous of the female attention Wayne is getting. And she says to Wayne, "He'll turn them on all right. When he growls those low notes and does that wiggle thing, that wiggle most girls go ape." And then Wayne says to himself, "You'd better not be wrong, baby." So sort of like that thing that the Jonas Brothers would say, "Baby." This guy's kind of saying, "Baby." So anyway, turns out that that I don't know where they are. It looks like they're in a club. Maybe they're getting ready. They're having dinner before the actual appearance. But it turns out the dinner date has Donna, Wayne, and the agent. And at this point, Wayne is getting a lot of female attention from his female fans. So he's dancing with one of them. Donna's sitting at the table with the agent. And the agent's asking Donna, "Have you got a personal interest in this guy, Donna? You might be making a big mistake." Donna answers back, "Wayne doesn't mean anything when he flirts, Ron." Yeah, right. Kind of like not really like convincing herself of that. So anyway, Wayne is explaining to Donna, "Hey, I've been with different women the whole night, doing various things, but none of them meant anything. And it's really you that, who I did not do any of these things with, that I really care about." Looks like Donna's not really buying what he's saying. And the agent's trying to swoop in and kind of create a wedge with Wayne and Donna, saying, "Listen, soon, Donna, he'll have squealing chicks all around. You'll break your heart if you try to hold on to him." Donna realizes this is the case, that she might not be there for the right reasons. It might be an ego thing with her. where she kind of builds this guy up, and then after she proved her worth by this guy being built up, she might not want to pursue a relationship with him anymore. But that might be reading in too much of it. So anyway, the agent is taking interest in Donna, saying that, hey, there's a group that I'm thinking about signing. I want you to listen to them and tell me whether I should pursue this endeavor or not. But then it turns out that the group that the agent was interested in signing, Donna didn't think they were very good, saying that they're basically a local band at this point. So they're kind of establishing this is kind of like a second guy coming in here. So anyway, turn the ad. I'm not interested in this ad. See an in-house ad for some of the other romance titles from Charleston. So then it turned out that Wayne's appearance on network TV was a huge hit. It was a huge hit. Wayne's career is skyrocketing at this point. But the thing is for Donna, it's bittersweet because on one hand she was proven right, but on the other hand, Wayne is slipping away from her because Wayne is being enamored by all these different types of women, and he's sort of losing interest in Donna. Then the agent guy says to Donna, he's like a kid with a credit card in an ice cream parlor, Donna. Back then, you could not use a credit card for a lot of the things you can today. And using a credit card actually was kind of a big deal back then because it was a huge drawn out process, not like tapping today. Turns out Donna's aware that this type of behavior was something she expected from Wayne, and she knows that she might lose out on Wayne, whether how much effort, no matter how much effort she put in. But it turned out that the agent is actually interested in Donna. And what happened at this point is that Wayne moved on. He's kind of playing the field with the groupies. Donna is hooking up with the agent. So it's sort of like one of those kind of misdirect stories. Will they make it? Not really sure at this point. I'm probably inclined not to think they would make it. See some ads. Okay. So anyway, that is my review of I Love You, issue number 102, and I hope to have more reviews up soon. Bye.